how are you? Welcome back to my channel, Pretty Hippie Me. I am shower fresh and I'm sitting by my bed, so you know what that means. Time for another palette instructions review. I'm trying to be a little bit more enthusiastic in my videos. If you're not familiar with these videos that I do, I'm a beauty beginner, not a beauty guru, and this is the third video in a series about me trying to just learn more about makeup. The way that I'm doing that is by using eyeshadow palettes that have instructions on them, following those instructions and seeing how it turns out. You can learn different techniques suggested by different brands, and you can also see the difference between how those instructions look in a drawing on the back of the palette and how they actually look on your face. So the palette I'd like to do this week, I'm going to use the New Classics palette by e.l.f. I have not used an e.l.f. palette before, like this big of an e.l.f. palette especially. This one was a little bit pricier than the other two palettes I've been using so far, so I hope that that doesn't just have to do with the quantity of shades, but that it also has to do with the quality of the shades. We'll see. They lay out a diagram of the eye for you, and they suggest 3 different color combinations to put on your lid, crease, and to use as an eyeliner. So I'm going to spend 3 days doing these 3 looks, and then on the 4th day, I'm going to make my own look now that I'm a little bit more familiar with the palette. One thing I'll mention, the instructions do not include using a highlight on the brow bone or the inner corner of the eye. Personally, I really like to do that, so I'm just going to do it in all of these looks. If I use one of the shades in the palette to do that highlight, I will let you know which one. If I use a separate highlighter, I will also let you know which one. So the first look I would like to try this week is the 3rd look that they have listed here. It's called Cherry Wine, Rosy and Sweet. So I'm going to go do the look and I'll be right back and show you how it goes. Okay, day 1, look 1 is completed. Here's what it looks like all together. So I like how this look turned out. Just for a point of reference, I used Beloved, which is in this row in the middle, that peachy shimmer shade on my lid. I used Charmer, which is the middle shade in this row, that purpley matte shade in my crease. And Black Cherry, which is the bottom of this end row over here. It's a shimmery, very, very deep purple or very, very deep red. I'm not exactly sure, but I used that as the liner. So I like how this look turned out. I started using a different technique for underneath my eyeshadows. Like I mentioned that the primer I was using was not right for my eyes. I want to explain a little more about why that is. I did a little bit of research and figured out that I have slightly hooded eyes. Basically, there's a little tiny, it's hard to see, little bit of skin from this upper portion of my eye that overlaps onto my eyelid. So when I open my eyes, there's more friction there and a little bit of eyeshadow tends to rub off. That little bit of hoodedness, plus the fact that I have oily lids, has kind of led to a lot of makeup kind of not sticking, not staying where I want it to be. I was looking for solutions on YouTube and on the internet, and I found a couple of suggestions about baking your eyes for a little bit before you put on your eyeshadow, and how that helps absorb some of the oil and helps the shadows stay in place. It definitely has worked for the crease shade so far. I almost feel like I have a little bit too much crease shade. I was trying to blend it out and it wasn't like super blendy, but I do still like the way that it looks, so I almost don't even mind. But that's been something important for me to learn and practice, and part of me learning about makeup, learning about beauty, is learning about my eyelids and the shape of my eyes. It's fascinating, the details, guys. There's so much to know and I don't know any of it. But anyway, with the baking technique instead of just concealer, I feel like the color is coming through a little bit stronger. In person, I feel like the shade Beloved, which is on my lid, that peachy shimmer shade, it is a little bit lighter than it looks in the pan. I thought that it would be a little more peachy. Overall, the shades were fine. So far they're performing well. I'm hoping that the baking technique leads to nice long wear times and just fixes all of my problems. I'll give this look honestly like an 8 out of 10. I don't have much bad to say about it. The only thing is, when I saw the color combination, it looked like it was going to be kind of a little more interesting than what it is. I didn't expect it to be as nudie on me as it looks, but that's not a bad thing. You know, I'm going to work today. I don't need to have like kind of eyes. It's not my favorite design in the world, but like it's not a bad design. It's kind of a standard day-to-day look, I think. Oh, I forgot to do my highlighter. I forgot to do my highlight today. I did highlight on my cheeks, but I forgot to do highlight under the brow bone or in the corner of the eye. So that's the highlight update for this eye look. But yeah, solid 8 out of 10. So far the shadows are doing what they're supposed to do. The design is like fine. It's not inspirational necessarily, but it's like good. So not a bad look for day 1. So I'll see you tomorrow for day 2. Okay, it's time for day 2, look 2. The look I think I want to try today, which is going to be a little bit risky because the colors are more bold. So I've kind of made an agreement with myself that if I don't like how it turns out, it's okay for me to wash it off and do a different look. But I think the look I want to try today is the second look in the list. It's called Golden Hour, Gilded and Seductive, and it uses the shades Gilded, Opulent, and Downtown. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, the look is done. I actually filmed a get ready with me doing this look, so I will link that. I am liking this look for the most part. Here's how it looks all together. I followed the instructions with how to use Gilded, Opulent, and Downtown, and then I added Glamour as a highlight on the brow bone and the inner corner of the eye. I feel like Downtown as the eyeliner kind of got overshadowed, and here's why. They number these shades 1, 2, 3, 1 being the lid, 2 being the crease, and 3 being the liner. So usually when I apply, I go in number order, lid and then crease and then liner. I think by doing that, because I did the lid first and it's this shimmery lime green shade, and so then I blended the crease and the lid a little bit, and then I think all of the glitter just disappeared from Gilded, the lime green shade. And then I put Downtown on as the liner, and by the time I finished putting on Downtown as the liner, Gilded, the green shade, was just like really patchy and really like gone. So then I put Gilded on again to put back, just because it had basically disappeared. But then doing that caused Opulent and Downtown to really get toned down. So really the moral of the story there is that Gilded has some pretty serious fallout, kind of disappears. But now that I have reapplied it, it's stayed in place, it's bold, it's bright, it's not going anywhere really. So maybe if you were to do what I did, perhaps you would need to also reapply Downtown to actually make that appear again. Let me see what I can do. So you can get some color back without disrupting Gilded, it looks like. So yeah, I just reapplied Downtown. It's not sending Gilded flying, so that's good. Overall, I think the look is nice. You have to like lime green a lot. It's the only like color, the other shades are neutrals. I think it's a nice going out look. It could just be a nice, just like look for the day. I think it's pretty. It's not necessarily something I would have thought of and would have gone for, so I like that the instructions kind of made me try it. So that's today's look. I'd give it like a, I don't know. I think where I'm struggling is just that it's not my personal style. Like, I like it, it's fine, it's performing well, it's doing what it needs to do, it builds up, so being buildable is good. It's just not necessarily my like go-to shade or my go-to aesthetic, but now that it's on my face, it's doing a good job. So I give it like a 9 out of 10. The only negative I have for it is just that gilded tends to fall out a bit. You can see it on my lower lash line. It was on my face down here before I like did all my face and everything. So that's definitely a little bit of an issue. So for that reason, I think I am gonna take this look off for the day because I don't wanna, you know, 6 hours from now be at work and be like, oh my god, my face looks terrible. It's a good look, and if you build it up just right, and if you maybe have better techniques than me for what to do with fallout or how to take care of it so it won't fall out maybe, I don't know, then you might really thoroughly enjoy this look. But yeah, I am gonna take this off, but it is a good look. It just might not be right for me today with the amount of fallout that Gilded has going on. But I hope that if you try it, you enjoy it, and let me know in the comments how it goes for you. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow for day 3, look 3. Just kidding! I thought about it, and since I am not wearing that lime green look, which I watched it on camera and it looks better in person than it looked on camera. Since I'm not going to wear that lime green look out and about today, I figured I might as well do the next e.l.f. palette look today instead of trying to do it another day, because I need to wear makeup today. So I kept my face. I very carefully used a makeup wipe to just remove my eyeshadow, and probably part of my mascara came off, but is probably partly still there. So I'm going to do now the first look in the list, which is called My Muse, Warm and Sultry. It's a much more natural nude kind of look. It uses the shades Truffle, Darling, and Muse. So that's these 3 top row shades right here. Truffle is supposed to go on the lid, Darling is supposed to go in the crease, and then Muse is supposed to be the eyeliner shade. I'm gonna try it out and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, I am back with my second look of the day, 3rd look in total. I think it's going pretty well, this look. Here's how it looks all together. So as I mentioned before, the shades I used were Truffle on the lid, Darling in the crease, and Muse as a liner. I also added Blanc, this white highlight shade over here, under my brow bone and in the corner of my eyes. This look isn't as clean as I wanted it to be. I put on the lid and the crease, and then I was doing my liner, and I have 2 shadow brushes that I use for shadow liners. This one and this one. This one has like a wider, it makes a wider line than this one. I used this one first because this one was dirty and it ended up just being too wide of a line. So then I went back in and I covered it up again with the lid shade and reapplied it with this. So it just, I'm very heavily coated here. But other than the look being a little bit messy, I feel like it looks really nice. These are all matte shades and they're stronger than I thought they were going to be, stronger than a lot of matte shades I've used in other palettes, so I'm impressed by that. And when I say strong, I mean pigmented. They're staying pretty much in place, but they're also blendable and buildable, which I really like. I would call Truffle and Darling like cream matte shades, and then Muse, the dark purple, had a little bit more kind of kick up when I put my brush into it and had a little bit of fallout for sure. I kind of feel like that's happening under my bottom lashes. But I also think that could be an application issue because of the I had to do it twice thing. So yeah, I feel like it's a nice warm look. The colors complement my skin better than I thought that they would. The crease shade and the lid shade are very similar to each other. They kind of are blending together too much and kind of muddying into one shade. But I do think that the shades are still distinct enough that you can see a nice crease, lid, liner action going on. I love how the purple shade as a liner Makes my eyes pop a little more green. I have hazel eyes, so sometimes they look green, sometimes they look brown, it depends. Overall, it's a great day-to-day look. It's a good go-to look for days when I don't really have time to play around and figure out a look. I can use this formula and then add my highlight and be gone, you know? I feel like it's looking good on camera as well as in person. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints about it. For what this look is, a neutral day-to-day look, I gotta give it like a 9 out of 10. The only issue being a little bit of fallout from the Muse shade. But other than that, it's a really easy, pretty, flattering go-to look. I think I'm gonna actually wear this look today. I'll come back actually tomorrow to do my own look using the palette now that we're more familiar with it. We have not used all the shades yet, but we've used a good amount of them, so I'll try to use the shades that I haven't already shown you. I'll make my own look and then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts on the palette tomorrow. Okay, day 4, testing out the e.l.f. The New Classics palette. So far with the 3 looks that we have on the back, we've tried out 9 shades plus a couple of different highlight shades that we've thrown in. Today I'm going to be making my own look with no instructions, and I think I'm going to try using some shades that we have not yet used and just kind of see what I come up with. I have a couple ideas in mind for colors and we'll see how they look together. I'll be right back to show you. Okay, I'm done. This is my completed look that I made with no instructions. Take a look. So I want to take you through what I used. I used Earth in my crease. I used this shade, which is called Rose Gold, even though to me it looks very bronzy orange. I used this on the outer half of my lid. I used Beloved on the inner half of my lids. I used Glamour as a highlight under my brow bone and in the corner of my eye. And I used Opulent as a liner for my top lash line. So here's what's going on. I like the idea of the look I was trying to create. I don't think I fully created it. And I think this goes back to, I'm a little disappointed by Beloved here. It's not as pigmented on my face as it looks in the palette, and it's got a lot of fallout. So I think this look would have worked great had the pink been a little more, I don't know, just stay put kind of color. It's kind of going up into my crease and I've only been wearing the look for like 20 minutes. So I like the idea of pink and orange together. Like I said, this shade is called Rose Gold, but like it really doesn't look rose goldy to me. And that's not just me, right? I wanted to give Rose Gold a shot because that was one of the shades we had not used and it's such a vibrant shimmer. And that one seems to be working great, staying in place where you put it, vibrant on the eye as it is in the palette. We also had not used Earth before, the brown matte shade. That one's doing well also. Looks good in the crease, stays put, pigmented, blendable, all the stuff you need. And then Opulent as a liner, I think it would work well. I think it's just with the color combo that I had going on, it's kind of overshadowed a little bit. It's an interesting color. I can't tell exactly if it's like a gray or a really dark olive green, but I'm okay with that kind of in-between shade. It's one of my favorite colors. I think I could build it up a little bit more to give it a more defined line. As a whole, I give this look like a 7 out of 10 just because Beloved being not a great shade, moving all over the place, really kind of ruins the whole look that I was going for. And it's the only like pink shade in the palette that I could use to get the look I was going for, so I can't really replace it with something else. For the palette as a whole, like, I gotta give this palette like a 9 out of 10. I am very impressed and surprised with the quality of this palette. I have been using my my ColourPop Bare Necessities palette recently, and I like this one more. I really do. I think it's a little bit easier to use. They're a little more predictable in terms of their performance than the ColourPop shades are. I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I feel like there were a couple of shades that didn't really work perfect for me, but it's a lot of shades. So if there's 1 or 2 in there that are a miss, it's still a good palette. I think every palette has one or two shades that are like, meh, you know? And you've got a good variety in here, so I get why it's called the New Classics, because it's very much shades that everybody can use for a lot of different types of looks. I've been very impressed with this palette this week, so I'm definitely gonna look at more e.l.f. palettes. The looks on the back were a good way to get to know the performance of the shades. 2 out of 3 of those looks, I was like, it's okay. But like I said, this first look is a great go-to neutral day-to-day look. I want to try different things than the way that the looks were described, but it was a good, you know, it was a good base, it was a good starter, and maybe on different skin tones and different skin types, the looks will look a little bit better and a little bit different, and, you know, I encourage you to try them out. That's been this week in following makeup instructions. I hope that this has been helpful for you in some way, informational, inspirational, who knows. I'm looking forward to doing another palette like this, but I've also, now I have 3 or 4 new eyeshadow palettes from these videos that I'm also just looking forward to using and playing around with a little bit more. So I might be doing some more get ready with me style videos instead of going out and buying a ton more palettes to try out. I hope that this idea was at least interesting to you guys. Please let me know in the comments below what your experience has been with e.l.f. palettes, especially these big ones. Have you ever tried following the instructions on a palette, and how do those usually work out for you? Does it tell you anything, or is it just like, meh, I'm not interested? Thank you so much for watching and watching me learn, beauty beginner that I am. If you want to see more content like this, please like this video, leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, set the notifications to all. You know all the stuff to do. Your support really, really does mean a lot to me. Thank you again so much for watching. So much love. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.